edición. ¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Esto es Auto 060 aquí en Cristina Radio Network. Tenemos un show muy especial. Vamos a tener el honor de hablar con James David Power III, el fundador de JD Power Associates. Vamos a hablar también de lo que está pasando, de lo que pasó en Las Vegas esta semana con el Consumer Electronics Show, de la tecnología que va integrada en los autos. Vamos a revisar los premios que dio la compañía, el portal de internet de información autobytel.com, y finalmente en el último segmento un tema de seguridad con el colega de State Farm para hablar de las cosas que a veces llevamos en el maletero y que son en realidad una carga innecesaria, y cómo nos puede afectar esto en la seguridad. But now for this first show, we have the honor, we're switching back to English now again, because we have the honor to talk to James David Power III, who was the founder of JD Power and Associates, and we're going to review in this few minutes a little bit of the history of the amazing company that he founded and his view on the auto industry nowadays. How are you, Mr. Power?
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, first for sharing some of your time with us, especially at the beginning of the year where everybody's having good ideas of what to do and maybe thinking about buying a new car. And you founded one of the companies that give the best service to consumers. Can you?
We started in 1968 on our kitchen table. My wife and 3 children, and the 4th one on the way. And we started doing surveys by mail, and since my prior experience had been in Detroit, I got into the automobile surveys and was very delighted to find out that we could do the surveys ourselves without having worked for one particular car company.
Yeah.
We did the whole industry.
Wow.
That was the key element. We owned the data.
Yeah, exactly. And it was independent, so you didn't really have to put a pretty face on some of the results, I guess, when they weren't good, right?
In 1968, automobiles had a lot of problems, and the customers were interested in filling out our questionnaire and adding additional information on the back of the cover letter and send it back to us. And we found out that they were very interested in their vehicles, and they wanted the problems that they had, which were mostly the engine and transmission. The whole drivetrain was causing problems. And once the manufacturers got the feedback from those customers, they improved tremendously. And today, you can find that there's very little problems with the engine and transmission. It's, now the new electronics that are in the car.
Yeah, I guess back then in 1968, the cars were themselves very simple and but still had some problems, as you said. But nowadays, cars, in the next segment, we're going to talk to our colleague James Bell from General Motors, who was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, talking about having video cameras and GPS, navigation, connectivity to be a Wi-Fi spot.
Lincoln has redesigned some of their dashboards where they have gone back to the knobs, because they sell to the older population, and like myself, and you are much more familiar with turning the radio on with a knob, and they've gone back to providing that to their specific customers.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting in that sense, because you have to have actually both things nowadays. So, Mr. Power, how do you see the auto industry nowadays? As you said, there's some problems with that part of the new cars with all the electronics, but in general, the change from back then to now, it's tremendous, right?
Right. I would say there's 300 to 400% reduction in problems today. So you can't go wrong, and with all the cars that are being produced today and sold in the United States, it's a wide range of products, but they're all closer together. They've improved the quality so much that it's really hard to differentiate from one brand to another and one model to another.
Which also makes it a little bit tougher for the consumer to make the final decision, right? And that's why services like you started back in 1968, and nowadays with J.D. Power and Associates are so important because, I mean, there's so much information that you have to take into account when you make that decision to buy that new car.
Yes, and what's happening too, of course, is the internet and the availability of the information to all of the consumers out there. So they actually do more research on the vehicle that they want to buy and have a better understanding of it when they go into the showroom than the salesperson that is trying to sell them the vehicle.
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
The consumer is in charge today.
Yeah.
And it's only going to increase more and more. And they know what they want, and they don't want to have a lot of interchange trying to sell them something that they really don't need or don't want.
Yeah, so they're taking the power away from the dealership, which is a great thing, but also it can be a bit confusing. So, well, if you could give a consumer, somebody who is thinking of going out and getting a new car, if you can give them like 3 tips, like how should they go to that dealership to get that new car and get the best deal?
You don't have to go to the dealer necessarily.
Yeah.
You can buy it online. And I think that's the trend that's going to increase dramatically. And so the days of selling in the showroom and then going in to see the F&I people, finance and insurance people, is going to be passe. It's going to be done on the computer.
So yeah, but still today there's a lot of deals going on at the actual dealership. When do you see this change happening? Maybe 5 years? The dealerships are gonna exist for service, but the sales part of it, when do you see really changing forever?
It's not going to be changing forever. It's going to be changing forever, but the dealerships will adapt to it as well, and they will still be involved. We see the dealerships are going to be around for a dozen or more years.
Yeah. So, in other things, the auto industry obviously has changed completely. More so, I would say, like in the past 5 to 10 years than probably in the previous 30 or 40 years, right? Do you agree with that, like with the hybrid cars and electric cars now?
Yes, and I think that there's a room for the electric vehicles, and I also see compressed natural gas becoming a bigger factor. Natural gas is that it will allow the United States to be independent of the oil from the Middle East.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big change.
Yeah, and there are also other technologies like hydrogen cars, I guess that the infrastructure is not there. I think Hyundai is launching a car only in California in a certain area where there's like stations to refill with hydrogen, and that's more or less the same case with gas cars, right?
That's right, and hydrogen will be factored in as well, and with the technology improvements, it's going to be better vehicles, better fuel consumption, and they're going to be happy with the new technology that is still coming on board.
Yeah. So, Mr. Power, again, thank you for your time and everything. But can you, in the final few minutes of this interview, can you tell what crucial lessons that brands can learn from their consumers, especially nowadays when there's so much information available?
Well, they have to get into providing that information as well. It's an interchange of information, and they can do that with the new technology that we have coming in the internet sphere. And so I think that they will adapt to it. The manufacturers will adapt to it, and they'll have instant information. So they can actually communicate with their potential customers.
Yeah. So, James, Dave Power III, there's also a new book about your story, right? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. We have been doing a lot of surveying of consumers and customers, car owners. And over the 40 years, I would say that with millions of people have filled out our questionnaires and sent them back to us. And I think that is something that I would like them to understand, and that's the purpose of the book, is to thank them for supporting J.D. Power and Associates by filling out these questionnaires that were fed right back to the manufacturers, and they acted on it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We're going to share in our Facebook page all the information about where can they look for the book. And again, James Dave Power III, founder of J.D. Power and Associates, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Bueno, ahí estaba la entrevista con James Dave Power, el fundador de J.D. Power and Associates, la compañía que él ya vendió en el año 2005 y que brinda todavía gran información. Cuando regresemos aquí en Auto 060 vamos a hablar con James Bell de General Motors sobre las presentaciones que tuvieron en el Consumer Electronics Show allá en Las Vegas. Esto es Auto 060, yo soy Javier Moto.